What's going on YouTube? Welcome to All Things Nerdy, and this is your Nerdy News Roundup, where I sift through all the last few weeks of nerdy news to bring to your attention. So I hope you stick around and let me know what you think of it in the comment section below. First up, we've got two big pieces of Star Wars news coming out for the anthology movies that will be coming on alternate years of the main trilogy. Rogue One, which is slated for release in December of 2016, is having several reports coming out that Vader will in fact have a spot in the movie. He's being described as more of a puppet master of sorts as opposed to the film's main villain. Now, Rogue One will depict how the rebels were able to obtain the plans for the Death Star, and it is being described as more of a war grit movie with more emphasis on the war in Star Wars. With Jedi being killed off and largely being outlawed throughout the galaxy, it'll be interesting to have a war gritty movie that we aren't used to with Star Wars and seeing more of a human interaction for the non-force sensitive people. And now we've had several hints that there was a potential crossover between Disney's hit TV show Star Wars Rebels and Rogue One. Now I don't believe that's going to happen. Even though Star Wars Rebels has a little bit of a darker feel than most cartoons do, it's still largely a children's cartoon. Seeing as Rogue One is being depicted as a darker, grittier movie, I can't see them crossing the two over too much. More so just kind of references or name drops, possibly even just short little cameos. Instead, I think what we're going to end up seeing is a lot more involvement from bounty hunters, a little bit of espionage, or even double crossing. Our second piece of big Star Wars news is that Han Solo will indeed be getting his own Origins film. It was announced along with Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and The Force Awakens, will be returning to write this Origins film. Past that, there's no official details that have been announced. As far as a timetable goes, I'm slating it for around 2018, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. I don't care for prequel movies as there's no suspense that a character may die. We know that if he does meet up with Chewbacca, Chewbacca lives, he lives. If he meets up with any essential characters, we know already their outcome, so there's not a lot that we can gain for a prequel movie. The only aspect that has me really excited is the fact that Lawrence Kasdan is going to be returning to this outstanding writer, so perhaps we will get a great Han Solo movie. Moving into video games, Batman Arkham Knight continues to be Game of the Year well, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. It continues to be a big disappointment for all PC users as DLC is being delayed due to performance issues. Currently, Batman Arkham Knight is still not up for sale as issues are being worked out to make the game playable. This could be a byproduct of Steam's new refund policy being enacted. Instead of being stuck with a broken, unfinished game and waiting for patch after patch to fix it, PC users now have the option of returning it. It may just be a byproduct of the company, the developer, noticing that they didn't do a very good job at porting it onto PC. One of the big problems that developers have, however, when porting a game over to PC is that they have to try to make this game wide range accessible to multiple different people. When they're creating the game for console, they know exactly what sort of hardware, exactly what sort of equipment they're going to be working with. Whereas PC, there's an incalculable amount of different combinations that you could put together. Regardless of the reason, however, the consumer, us gamers, are still going to be coming out on top. Even though this spells disaster in the short term for PC users who are wanting to play Batman Arkham Knight, we're still going to be coming out on top. Hopefully, developers down the road for other companies that are looking to develop or port a game over to PC will put a little bit more dedication into doing just that, in hopes that they don't get this negative press or light shined on them. And finally, we'll give a quick little discussion over who won the trailer war that occurred over Comic-Con. Now, we had trailers coming out for all sorts of different TV shows and lower-end movies over the weekend, but we also had some big-end movies release trailers. And some of the bigger ones in contention for winning the trailer war are the likes of the X-Men Apocalypse or World of Warcraft. Even Deadpool came out with his own trailer over the weekend. However, the one that stood out the most would have to be the Batman vs. Superman trailer. Now, by now, each of these are on the internet. You can find them posted all sorts of different places. Deadpool and X-Men Apocalypse are not officially released yet, but they're all sorts of people who recorded on their cell phones, and while I can't post it directly on here, you can find them all over YouTube. I do, however, encourage you to go form your own opinion on things and watch each of them and see which one you like the most. However, between all the big news that came out over the weekend, I would have to say Batman vs. Superman trailer was the most impactful out of all of them. For me, what sold the trailer, or essentially won the trailer over for me, was Ben Affleck. The pure raw emotion that he displayed for the Batman character was simply phenomenal. As he cradled the young girl in the wreckage of a falling skyscraper while Superman battled somebody was just chilling. However, even with Ben Affleck's superior acting being displayed in the trailer, there are several elements that I did not care for in the trailer. We did see Wonder Woman towards the end of the trailer, but by that point I was more so invested in seeing what happened with Batman and Superman than I was in exploring or seeing other superheroes in this universe at the time. Jesse Eisenberg was another piece of the trailer that I did not care for. Of course, he plays Lex Luthor in the movie, and while I don't think Lex Luthor is going to be the main villain in this movie, and he should carry over into another one, I don't particularly buy Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. He didn't seem threatening or mystic or anything of the sort. I much would have rather continued to explore or see interactions between Batman and Superman. The very last shot that we got was Superman ripping the doors off of Batman's car and them coming to a standstill facing each other. Those sort of moments, that is what sold the trailer 100%. But of course, trailers are just that, and they are trailers. We'll have to wait till the full release to be able to tell if this is going to be a good movie or Jesse Eisenberg pulls off a phenomenal Lex Luthor character. And with that, we'll come to a close. Be sure to aggressively attack that like button, as well as subscribe for more Nerdy News Roundup. And as always, stay nerdy and have a good one.